Hey y'all, Bearded Bros Golf Show back at it again. We are late and it is my fault today. Marcus is off the hook. Usually he's the culprit, but we're gonna do this thing. I know a lot of y'all are probably watching the NBA playoffs. I think this actually might be one of the better NBA playoffs that we'll have for a while. It already feels
Yeah,
like we got some good storylines going on after getting through the play-in games and all that jazz. But yeah, Knicks and Detroit coming down to the wire. Detroit should have closed it out, but it is what it
yeah,
is. Um, let's get into it. Lots of golf happening this past weekend. I mean, a lot of golf. And then
lots.
we are back at it again with the major on the ladies' side. Some resurgent players getting titles after droughts, and then the youth movement on the LPGA continues to roll along. It's all happening, my guys. So
Yeah,
let's hit JT first. He is our marquee and kind of title picture for the week. Getting off the snide, PGA Championship 2022 in Tulsa was that man's last victory. I always say that one was kind of fluky in itself. We saw Mito Pereira kind of give up the game at the end of that one, so I don't put an asterisk next to it because JT was there, but it just doesn't feel like a just the traditional win. It wasn't as dominating as his first PGA Championship, but
yeah,
nevertheless dons the tartan jacket after a playoff win versus Novak. Novak putting himself in position to win. I feel like the guy is gonna get one at some point. It's either gonna be one or the other. He kind of finally crosses the the desert sands and gets his win, or he's gonna fall all the way off. But he seems like a scrappy guy. JT had to drain a really long putt to actually get the victory.
yeah,
But a lot of the interviews that I'm seeing post round and kind of even the pre coverage just talks about him getting back to basics. I don't think the swing has ever been completely broken, but saw him talking about putting with and putting practice with Xander, just kind of focusing on some fundamentals, and also the mental game has been a big part of this. Big quote after the round, and I don't want to screw it up, so let me go to my notes. Essentially, he just says winning is hard, and said didn't realize how much I missed winning. It's a very interesting quote. I don't know
yeah.
how you missed that aspect of it, but I guess part of it for him. What's your synopsis of JT getting back in the winner circle, man?
Uh, my original thought was hopefully he does enough to, cross the finish line in first. Just because the first round he shot, it just would have been a shame to see him shoot a 61, tie the course record, just to catch a L and shoot, 7 under the next 3 days after going, 10 under on the
Yeah,
first day. But I mean the fact still remains, it is so hard to come back from shooting a crazy low round. He still had 5 or 6 birdies that next day, but it was a lot more trouble. It was a lot more stressful on him that next day, that Friday that he played. But yeah, I'm glad he got it done. And I
Siwoo
think
Kim was also putting up a challenge, who
yeah, he
has a
did.
drought going as well.
Yeah, Siwoo Kim actually kind of faded in that final nine. Unfortunately, Nowak made a charge. Scheffler went in the water on 15. So, it was a hard fought win for JT. He did what he was supposed to do. He closed it out. I said it. With the back nine coming, Novak made a putt. JT made that long slider on 15 as well. So, it really was going to come down to who could make a putt. The scoring
Yeah,
wasn't going to stop. 18 fairways wide open enough. The green is like that little postage stamp. You know where to miss. As long as you hit a solid shot, really no bad thing is going to happen. You just got to make a putt.
it it was actually so crazy and competitive down the stretch that PGA Tour, or yeah, their Instagram page was kind of putting up posts every few minutes,
Yeah,
based on the players going back and forth. I kept getting notifications that they've posted a new post. So as Novak would birdie
Yeah,
or JT would birdie, it was actually a pretty exciting finish. One of the best ones we've seen in quite a while. And kind of, I mean, the playoff. I mean, you just give it to a man sinking a long putt like that. So I
right.
want to say, like I said, exciting finish. And I do think that Novak's going to get him one at some point. But it was good to see, of course, JT get a win, celebrate with the family. First win as a father.
Yeah,
Always feels a little bit different, right? Felt the emotion out there on the green. So what do you, I know
yeah.
you always bring up the dad focus. What do you think about that aspect?
Your boy was locked in, but but that's also what I was going to mention though. When he went to you talking about he went to Xander, which was a great ode to like actually shouting out who helped you. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do it by yourself. You always have a team of some sorts. But yeah, I just want to say as an amateur, listen to what JT said. He got away from basics. He got away from his routine on the putting green. As soon as he figured back out his routine, went through the same process, did the same things over and over again, he started making putts and started playing better golf. So
Yeah.
as much as we want to get on, ourselves about not making shots and stuff like that, do we have a routine that we follow? Do we have a shot process that we go through? Do we hit the ball the same yardage every time like these guys do? This is a pro saying that he got back to doing the same process. So as much as we want to beat ourselves up, if pros are saying that they go through a process and have to go through their same routine, I think that's what we need to focus on a little bit more. And it was just refreshing to see somebody admit to it and actually,
Yeah.
go through what they thought and what was happening while they were losing, and then what got them back to competing and contending. So I thought that was real refreshing.
That's a huge point about us not being too hard on ourselves, but also taking some of if they can do it and fall out of rhythms. I saw two pieces of content in the last couple of days that have been really helpful for me as I've been going through an early season slump and just had other focuses going on in life, and hadn't been able to play as much golf. Weather's not been great either. So whether
Right,
it's been
true.
weather, life, I just haven't played as much golf in these early months of the year as I had in the past. So, of course, JT talking about the basics. Me and you were talking about it prior to the show about me having a really good practice session and making notes on what worked so I can go into
Yeah.
my next round, focus on those pieces of information. But I also saw a piece of content from Scott Fawcett, who is the decade golf guy. And he was just talking about, he was referencing JT, but talking about the ebbs and flows of the game and that you're not always going to be hitting it well. You're not always going to be playing your best golf. And when you think you have it figured out, that's exactly when it is about to fall apart. Don't ever get too
Thanks.
comfortable with golf. And also from round to round. I mean, I've had some of my better rounds on the heels of a crappy round where I was just like, I'm going to give up the game for a couple of weeks and come back to it. So that the
Yeah.
mental game is really coming into play for me. And I think it's one of the parts of the game that I tend to neglect and think it's all about physical talent and that I can technique my way out of certain things. But I think the mental part and doing your checkpoints come first and sticking with the things that do work, as JT kind of reiterated, are the things that get you back to a solid place or at least playing respectable golf when, let's say, your swing's not in, you're not grooving it. So I think the mental game is something this season that I'm really going to put my attention around so I don't neglect it. And also, I think making a bunch of notes when things are going well so I can refer back to them during those tougher times and kind of recenter myself. So,
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
yeah. Anything else from the RBC that you kind of stood out? I mean, it was, I don't want to say it was a ho hum tournament because, again, the final day was spectacular. Um, I didn't like that they didn't do a cut this week. I mean, one note I was talking to Z, I played with him Sunday, is Nick Novak, not Nick Novak, but God dang it,
Dunlap.
my brain, Dunlap, Nick Dunlap. Struggling, man. I turned on the coverage early, I want to say it was Saturday, and he was +8 and coming off of his, 90 in the Masters, which he did turn around in that second day of the Masters. But the struggles that that young man is going through, again, I'm not playing good golf, so I'm like, I feel that. I totally feel that. He looks
Yeah,
uncomfortable over the
lost.
ball. Just doesn't look great. What have you seen from that kid? I know we talked about him 2 weeks in a row now, but again, just continues the struggles. They even talked about it on the coverage about him maybe needing to take a break and step away from the game for a couple weeks just to get a feel.
I don't. I mean, I think he's young enough to where he needs to continue playing through it. Again, you're young. You don't really have a life yet. You don't have a lot of responsibility still. Probably still doesn't, probably still hasn't locked in his own crib yet. Probably still, when he has time, probably still stays with the parents or somewhere in his hometown or something like that. I think he needs to keep battling. Unfortunately, it's gonna be ugly, especially after you win and you've done the work to get into these elevated events, which you're pretty much required to play if you're top 60 or a previous winner or whatever. But I think he needs to continue playing. Now, I think he needs to, during the week, I think he needs to be a little bit more like a veteran where they play maybe 9 holes, or maybe they've seen the courses before and they have a chance to just go to the range, refine some things, check some data. Everybody travels with a GC quad, a launch monitor, and stuff like that. So check your numbers, get rid of those icks. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got the driver yips right now. Is what is being reported. So he's been doing a lot of 3 woods off the tee and stuff like that. But I don't know if you can't really get off the tee with a 3 wood or a hybrid or something like that. Maybe you do need to take a break. But as
Yeah,
far as
and,
what
and
I'm
maybe
seeing,
maybe what you said earlier is he doesn't have a home base or is still not necessarily found his footing as a professional. Maybe that time
does he have a
away
teacher?
could could be setting that up, right? You know, I don't know. I don't know what's troubling him right now. I mean, the instructor thing is interesting because even when JT was talking about it, I'm like, his dad is his coach. So, um, when you're struggling
His
with your
dad can
game, I
be
know we've
honest with
seen
him though.
it's true, but let's say he's ran out of the answers to fix what's going on. So I don't know. I hadn't really dug into the Nick Novak kind of background or Nick Dunlap background situation to find out what's going on with him. Other than like you mentioned, kind of the yips going on and just him looking not as sharp as he did when he first came out. But I'm rooting for that kid because I hate seeing him looking sad on the golf course. He doesn't look like he's enjoying himself at all.
I mean, he might still be trying to go to the head coach for Alabama for lessons. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
might still be searching there. So if a coach is trying to win a national championship on the NCAA level, he's not really gonna have time to just look at your swing and dive into you as if you were still in his top five trying to make a score. So it's an unfortunate situation. Maybe during the summer when he's like in between recruiting or in between, their summer sessions or whatever, he'll have some more time to dive in. But yeah, he needs to find a guy to look at his swing and be one of his clients. Chill
well,
out some
uh,
bread and do that. Like
looking
in it,
look looking online, it looks like he's got a coach, Brian Speakman, who is the lead instructor at Greystone Golf and Country Club and has worked with Dunlap since his early years. So he's got a Cameron McCormick, Jordan Spieth situation, guy that's been with him for the long term since his junior days.
uh, I mean, like you said, he might need some new eyes. I mean, bro, Cameron McCormick compared to this Speakman guy. I mean, I don't. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know who Brian Speakman is, but I know who Cameron McCormick is. I
Yeah,
know. I know where Cormac McCormick practices and where does lessons at. We just found out where Speakman does lessons. Where is
yeah.
Greystone? Let's look that up.
It's
Is
probably
it
in
in Alabama?
Alabama.
Yep. Yep. Is that
So
where he if
yeah,
well he needs to find somebody that's Florida based or Arizona based or California based, the golf
yeah, where the
countries, the golf
hubs.
states and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or
but
Dallas.
yeah, shout out to that kid. I just want him to. I want Dunlap to get back in there and keep this youth movement on the PGA Tour moving. I feel like the
You
maybe
don't
with the
want him to
JT
fizzle
win.
out.
No, with the JT win, I feel like these veterans are tired of getting dominated by the young kids and having all these first time winners come through.
Yeah, back
There's
to
a little
back
bit
weeks
of a
now.
you don't want to be on the wrong side of that where your career starts going the wrong way on the other side of 30. So shout out to JT. This week for getting the win, and yeah, hopefully he can keep it going. Found those feels again. It seems like he's got the competitive fire back again. So um,
Yeah.
again, I'll ask anything else from because I jumped in there with Dunlap. Anything else of note from the RBC that you want to touch on?
Um Scotty looked good up until he went in the water on 15. I mean, he just needs to keep stringing these weeks together and then he's going to win a big one again. So,
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about how his game is going. I told you, I've said it on the show multiple times. I'm a JT fan. I'm a Rory fan, so I'm excited about them doing what they're supposed to be doing these few weeks in a row. Um, Unfortunately, when we get into the Zurich and like the warm up and stuff like that later on in the show, I'll say some other sentiments about the PGA. But for the RBC Heritage, it was a good week. I'm excited about how that went.
cool, cool. We'll come back to JT's what's in the back. We'll put a little space in between there. Other kind of side event on the PGA Tour, Garrick Higgo, South African, outlasts five guys that tied for second at 13 under to win at 14 under. The unfortunate story from that was Joel Dahmen, which I feel bad for Joel Dahmen. I really feel like his mental health is always teetering since we've seen him in the full swing feature a couple of years ago. But he went bogey to finish his round. Joel Dahmen went from leading the tournament to tied for second with four other guys, and just didn't really deserve to win the tournament. Said so as much in his
Yeah,
post round press conference. Really looked shook up. Said it was going to take him a while to get over this particular one, which I can absolutely see that one. And so I was curious and went and looked at some of the other guys finishing in those last three holes to see if this was um, nerves, was this, a tough finish. And amongst the other guys that, were in the top five, or, the guys that finished first and then the five-way tie, there were just maybe one bogey, handful of birdies in the mix, people
yeah,
parring out. So his three bogeys in a row were definitely nerves, and he alluded to that on the short putt that he missed on 17. That was the one that really kind of shook him. The other ones were not exactly, close putts. And so rough finish for him, but Garrick Higgo had also a drought. He had been off the tour a couple of years, had his initial win in his rookie season back in 2021 when they were still doing the full wraparound in a COVID year in an event that was only played one time. I had to make a note of that. So it was I'm not even going to say the name, but it was played in like South Carolina or something. And it was played that one time and has never been played again. But that was his lone victory on the PGA Tour back in 21.
yeah.
So got his second victory. So congratulations to him. I wanted to look up why he was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, being from South Africa. I didn't get the
Unsponsored.
connection. Sponsored, but I guess with who's the other guy that from that wears the MLB logo, but the baseball sponsorships in golf are always interesting. But what are your thoughts on the Corales Puntacana Championship?
No, Gary Higgo is a free agent. Uh, he's fallen off the wagon so far that nobody. I don't think he has any sponsors. So I think he.
Right.
That's just why he was wearing that. Um, yeah, I think Joe Damon's problem is I think he finally has his mental under control, but also at the same time, he's too realistic. And I mean that in the fact that like the rest of these pros, I mean a lot of these pros are like junior winners, kid winners, did a bunch of winning and have irrational confidence. I'll get it back. I can win again. Joe Damon's been a
Yeah.
career grinder. It just his whole life. So he we saw it in full swing, like you said. He finally got the mental help, so he's probably seeing somebody still. So I think he has the clarity, but also he's too like he. I'm trying to. It's right on the tip of my
You think?
tongue. He's
Do
like
you think he overthinks it?
overthinks it, yes, but also in same time, I think he's just like he's too
Let me ask you
informed. Like I
this.
don't like.
Let
Like
me ask you this. So back from the full swing, one of the moments that stood out to me were when his caddy said that Joe Damon could be one of the top 5 players in the world if he put his mind to it. I think with some people, the fear of success prevents them from hitting those heights. Like I don't know if Joe Damon
yeah. What if I
even
fail?
wants yeah, doesn't want the pressure of being one of the top guys in the game because that would be a lot for him to carry around. So
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a little bit of that in him in the psyche. It's not a talent thing at all with Joel Damon. It never has
yeah,
been. So I again the mental, he's gotten over the kind of the what we saw as an outward depression, and so maybe there's something else there that he has to kind of navigate through. But
yeah,
tough way to finish. That's the thing, right? And there's no really in between. You don't just go back. You either figure out that really soon and you have this bounce back that's incredible and you get on a run where you're playing some really good golf, or you hit
yeah,
the bottom again and have to bounce back from that. So we'll see one of the two.
yeah,
It's really hard to go through a moment like that in golf and just kind of maintain a level playing field,
yeah,
right? So there's going to be some reverberation, either positive or negative.
yeah. He did say the two bogeys on 16 and 17 were inexcusable. He said it himself. He said 18 is a tough hole. He said he had like
Yeah.
220 coming in. 220 coming in at 18. I get it. You hitting a 4 iron, a four hybrid, a three hybrid, something like that, where you really got to dial it in. Shots you don't
Windy
really have
course.
all the time. Yeah, windy course. I get it. But yeah, if admittedly so, he knew he messed up. I think
Yeah.
also, like he alluded to in the full swing, he still wants to have a life, and it's like, I don't know, bro. You're like in your 30s, your low 30s or whatever. Like, I think you need to grind it out and continue this prime as long as you can, and then chill out. But or or I think you need to lock in, have a few good weeks in a row to where you can kind of accumulate some funds and have the the freedom to take weeks off. I mean,
Yeah.
Buddy is traveling every week now. Like
Trying to
that's
get
just like
points
this,
and
right? That's the status he has. So like I get it. Like you want to be a family man. The kid is still young. They still got a toddler. Him and the wifey. So like I get it. You
but
want to be with the family, but
yeah, talent wise, he's somebody that should be playing in the elevated events. He
right.
just should
He
be.
should be having these. He should be having these easy exemptions into the majors. Shouldn't be having to go through qualifiers or the week before I have to win or I have to get like a top 5 or something like that to get into the major or something like that. He shouldn't be doing that. But that's neither here nor there. As long as he knows, and he's still got a good team around him. Hopefully, he turns the corner. Still, again, he has plenty of good golf years ahead of him. So hopefully, he sees that, and hopefully, the
here,
fear of
here,
failure, like you said.
yeah, I hope that's not what's holding him back. Here's my prediction
Right.
for Joel Dahmen. I feel like that he's gonna continue. I don't know. I just don't see it for him. His window is starting to close as an elite. He's 37, and so I see a wonderful run on the Champions Tour if they keep that around long enough that he will go out there to the Champions Tour and tear it up and have a really fun time out there. It's a lot more casual in terms of the attitudes. That's what I foresee for Joel Dahmen.
Do you
That
think he's
he'll
gonna
have.
give a damn about? Do you think he's gonna give a damn about golf 13 years from now? I'm not seeing it.
I think. I think it depends on how he manages. His money going forward. I mean, he's got 13 million in career earnings, so he's not done bad for himself at all. But yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on what it looks like financially for him at that point. He doesn't look to enjoy himself on the course very much. So I don't know. I think we play golf for the fun of it. So it's hard to force our opinion on somebody who does it professionally and for their job. But it just doesn't look like he's smiling very often on the course. A few more smiles in the last couple of years, but um, that pure love of the game, I just don't see that from him. Yeah, like you said, he's been a grinder his entire year. He's had to get it honest throughout his entire life on the golf course. So it's different than, like you said, some of these guys who have been natural talents from the get go and have had, some advantages that others haven't had. So, again, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it portends for him in the future, but I like the guy. I think he's a really good golfer, and I like Gino, his caddy. I think he's a solid human being to have in your corner, and I hope that they're able to keep it together and find some success in the next 5 year window. I think guys can play. I mean, we've seen Justin Rose play really good golf, and he's 43. So Joel's got a window of time to kind of play that second tier golf, and get some wins here to cap off
Yeah.
his career. Um, Keep it rolling. Quick mention on the DP World Tour, the Volvo China Open. I'm not gonna talk much about this one, but Ashun Wu wins that. He is a long-term DP World Tour pro. Won this tournament 10 years ago. That was his maiden victory in 2015, and
Hmm.
then makes it his fifth DP World Tour title. I think won his last one in 22 in the Magical Kenya Open. But found some notable names that have been playing well lately, all in different places in their career, interestingly. But Eugenio Takara, who won before the break for the Masters on the DP World Tour, young talent trying to get
Yeah.
himself onto the PGA Tour, and with these competitive finishes on the DP World Tour, he's showing something. I'm still
Yeah.
rocking the Oklahoma State gear again this week.
Yeah.
Hao Tong Lee, another young talent who went pro early, Chinese guy that has played well overseas DP World Tour. Gave it, I think, a quick run on the PGA Tour, but wasn't able to stick. Has been up and down with his game, but he's been playing some really good golf this year. Also has a win on the DP World Tour, and
Yeah.
kind of a bit of a blast from the past, but hadn't been able to get across the finish line, and also struggled in the final round. That I got to watch quite a bit of that live. But Kiradek Apibanrat, the Thai golfer, um, meaty, beefy guy, just looks
Yeah.
like on day four with a lot of walking tends to wear down. Um, Man, if that dude could have ever found just a little bit of shape, injuries have really sidelined his career to a
Yeah.
certain degree. I think he was going through a knee injury a couple weeks ago, but highly talented guy, just cannot get across the finish line. Um, can play 3 great days, but seems to struggle on day 4. But those were my notes for that DP World event. You can add anything you would like to and close this chapter out.
Yeah, the Chikara guy, I mean, his thumb, apparently he had made a swing, messed it up, and was still contending with a hurt thumb. So I think he really wants it. I think he's really been grinding a lot. So that's really commendable on his part. I mean, he's still got more than half the DP World Tour season to go. So
Yeah.
even if he didn't win, points alone, he's gonna have a lot of opportunity to get out there and be a top 10 finisher that doesn't already have a PGA Tour card or whatever, with that new system that they have going on. So, yeah, I mean, he's really been doing the work. He's still a dude, like he's still got the broomstick or whatever. Still trippy to me. I don't know, man. I feel like it's just cheap, but whatever, man. Like, whatever you got to do
Yeah.
to get it in. And I think it was just but also I think it's just funny to me is janky because we saw his what's in the bag. We went through his what's in the bag, and his at the crib gamer is a traditional putter, and he puts left
Yeah.
hand low. So for him to come out and just be on the tour and be like, I'm not comfortable enough with my other putter, so I'm gonna use this broomstick. He knows it's a crutch. He knows it's a easy, it's a helper club. I mean, you can't just outlaw the putter, but jeez, bro, like you too young to
Um,
be doing this.
I saw this dude on Instagram the other day, and he was side saddle putting, and I'm wondering,
I
like,
saw that
it,
criminal,
but it's
criminal.
legal. There are some things that would make it legal, like you can still anchor in that way, but I don't know, man. I was like, I mean, you're facing the hole. It looks like a pretty smooth stroke. The only thing that put me off about the guy on Instagram is that he didn't have any kind of grip down at the bottom, so he was gripping the shaft, the steel, and I thought that was kind of strange. And I'm like, you could put a grip
Right,
down there.
criminal.
You're not for the side saddle putting.
It's too easy. You're literally
It
aligning
is.
yourself. You're literally
It
aligning
is.
yourself. It's that's why you can't straddle the putter and make a through putt stroke through your legs and back into because it's too
Right.
easy. It's
That would be
cheating.
too easy.
Literally.
But on the side, create some variation. Why are there no guys on the PGA Tour using the side saddle? Didn't Sam
I don't
Snead
know,
side saddle
bro.
putt?
Yes, he did. I don't know, bro, but I've seen way too many broomstick putters on my local public course as well. Just throwing that out there.
Really?
Have seen 3 this season already. Not even trolling you. Our pro shop looks out to our number 9 uh, green and literally see them out there putting, like whether that be in a scramble event or like in a regular like public day that we have tee times on. Literally have
Mm-hmm.
seen at least 3 with my own eyes. Broomstick. 2025 in the year of our Lord, young people in their 20s.
I guess they all got the yips, right? Um, I'm on Google right now. Let's see, even on the shopping. You know
It's
how, like, if you
disgusting.
Google something that, it gives you suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many options available for side saddle putting, and most of them are pretty vintage, or there's a specific site called Side Saddle Putting with some dashes in between all those words.
Well,
If you see me with the
you're gonna have to do like a lab putter and just have them
and
pretty
adapt the
much
shaft,
bent. Yeah, you're just gonna have to have like a shaft that's bent a little bit more upright. Or I mean, the
like a
putter
little
perimeters are
45-degree.
already well. Bryson DeChambeau's is like 10 degrees, and that's like the very limit. Like if you see him
Okay,
putting,
Well, let's just say this:
It's the very limit.
if next time we play, if you see me with the side saddle putter in the bag, just mind your business, okay? That's all.
Chat, don't listen to Rod. The dude is a good putter. He doesn't need to.
But if you can
He needs
drain
to get
more, I
he needs
mean,
to get his ball striking together. That's all he needs to do.
whatever. All right, let's keep it rolling. Over to the ladies. Ingrid Lindblad. I kept putting a different letter in her first name, so we got to get used to that one. Third career LPGA start as a professional. Gets the win. Really, incredible score. She gets birdies, kind of crazy. She's gonna make some mistakes. She's young, but can go score. And also, an interesting. We've talked about the depth of talent on the LPGA. It does not stop.
Yeah.
Watching a young lady who's a twin, Kai Ioi. I can't say her name. She's a Japanese young lady who has a twin out there who also I think finished in the top 10 as well. Um, Akai was out there popping 315 with the driver. I mean,
Yeah.
talented. I mean, kind of nuts and not tall at all. Just kind of slight, but a long flowing swing, a bright blue driver. But they went down, to the finish. Unfortunately, she had a bogey on 18 that could have forced the playoff. Although it looked pretty much in hand for Lindblad the entire time, the LSU alum. But she was able to get it at going 21 under for the week
Yeah.
or 22 under. So, I mean, really incredible play. Looked composed the entire time. Saw an interview on the side. I think it was going into the final round where she just said, "I have the talent to be out here," and she absolutely does. So I don't know how much of the LPGA you got to watch with all the other golf happening, but I got to watch the final round since they were playing a little bit late and kind of in between basketball games. But really, I love California golf. I love the landscape of that course they were playing on. But really good golf. And Lauren Coughlin continues to play very good golf as well. So she's having a heck of a year with some runner-up finishes.
Yeah, man. They had some tuck pins late. Unfortunately, OI got to the top end, like got on the top side of like this bowl flag placement that they had on 18. So she had a birdie putt originally, but she was on the top side, had to, kind of crazy right to left bender down the slope. Just it wasn't really in her favor. So that's why her par putt
Yeah.
was like 8 or 9 feet coming back, and she still lipped out to par and go into the playoff and stuff like that. But yeah, Lindblad, she's been on the scene for a while now. I mean, 5 years. She was a part of like that COVID crew, so she had 5 years of eligibility for LSU. Probably one of their programs, one of their most prolific winners. So
Yeah.
she's no slight, just like what she said. Um, and again, she's a part of that generation, like we talked about many a time. These young kids, they don't care. The bogeys don't matter. They're gonna come back and get a birdie.
Right.
They're gonna come back. They're gonna go right back for the flag. It do not matter to these folks. So,
Yeah.
good on her for putting her head down and keeping it mashed to the gas because that's what you got to do. Even though it's 4 days, this JM Eagle was 4 days. It was a sprint the whole way. You have to get
Yeah.
into the 20s to win out there. Now, next week I'm sorry, this week for the Chevron, it's going to be a different situation with weather, major implications, and stuff like that. It's going to
Yeah.
be a lot tougher to score it, but that doesn't mean she's not going to have her bogeys and birdies mixed in. So, um, I think I don't know. I wish I could have saw more of it of the LPGA this week, but from what I saw, Minji Lee continues to put herself in the situation to win. Just needs to make a
Yeah.
few more putts. If she can lock in with her broomstick or whatever putter she chooses. I don't know. Um, Nelly
Gino
looked
with another
good.
top 10.
I mean, Gino plays every freaking week. I mean, when
Yeah,
do you not see her? Again, 22, just 22, does not have a life. Number two golfer in the world. She gonna
just
play
go
her some
play
golf,
golf.
right? And she gonna do it alongside Ronnie Yen, her BFF.
Well,
Um,
you know what? I know we've been saying that the talent is deep, which it is. I don't want to say that it's not, but I think there's been like the names that we're mentioning, as you already called out. Nelly Cordes trending in the right direction, which I have that on
yeah,
the notes. She didn't finish top 10, but she was up there pretty much all week. She ended up dropping down T16. Another name that is always up there, Nasa Hataoka. Every single week she
she
is
don't miss
in
fairways.
competition. Yeah, she does not at all. So, after coming off the Olympics, Esther Hinthelite also having a really solid season as well.
Yeah,
And this was actually one of their better
Soham Cup.
paying events. So I don't know, man.
Oh,
The LPGA is going to be interesting. I didn't go through the full list other than kind of maybe the top ones. The Chevron, they have 12 amateurs invited to the Chevron. Um, and Lottie Wode is one of those young ladies that has competed at a high level in some of these pro tournaments. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if she pushes the boundaries this weekend at the Chevron as well. So,
yeah.
man, the LPGA is stacked.
The LPGA, this week in particular at the JM Eagle, they made sure they talked about it last year. They said they wanted to put it as one of the top dollar events. And so they're continuing that trend. They had the sponsors on, they interviewed them as well on Sunday and was talking about that same thing. So kudos to them for being able to put that there.
Same, Sam. If they
I
literally
agree.
did opposite East Coast, West Coast swings and flip flopped it, or like
It'd
we
be fun.
loved when they were on the Asian swing because we're night owls, and so when they would play overnight, it was enjoyable because you'd wrap up your PGA stuff and then roll into the LPGA at night. So, and you'd get to see it
Yeah.
live. It wasn't like the replay or anything. So, I agree. If they could coordinate their schedules just a little bit better, where there wasn't as much crossover, this was a good week because they were playing South Carolina and then LA, so it
Yeah.
felt pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like LPGA is the hottest ticket in golf right now. I think they're putting out
Yeah.
the best product and in the best position to move forward. And as we've said, the biggest kind of runway to explode. And if they keep putting, themselves out on social media and pushing the game forward, end of the year events have done a really good job. The Grant Thornton's been awesome. We played
Yep.
around, entertained the mixed event for the President's Cup. I'm still open to it, but yeah, LPGA, we're fanboys for sure.
Yeah, let's delve into that a little bit more. So first of all, me and Rod in our personal conversations have been talking about it. The commentating of the LPGA needs to just, and I mean this in seriousness. I like, unfortunately, they do a lot of great things on social media. The product is always amazing. They have great camera crews, but like we need to have people delving into the women's game just like they did for college basketball for women's, just like they made this step for the WNBA. Like we just need to put a little bit more money into it just so we can get a level above the Morgan Pressels. I'm sorry, it had to be said. Judy Rankin, I think she retired. Judy Rankin, a long time LPGA player and analyst for them. She was a
Great on
calming
the great
voice,
on the mic.
great on the mic, calming voice, knowledgeable about the game, never really just went at somebody's head about something, but was critical of people's games when needed. And that was in the mid 2010s and the early 2020s when LPGA wasn't even really, the thing to be done. Tom Abbott, longtime LPGA
Oh
supporter.
man,
Great voice.
loved.
Love Tom
But
Abbott.
he doesn't work very much these days. Not as much as he used
He
to.
is correct. I mean, he might be riding off into the sunset himself. I mean, but yeah, I just,
You've
I,
never been a Karen Stupples fan either.
listen, career hater. I'm sorry. Just let her walk the fairways, put her with the lead group, put her with the featured groups. That's fine. I
You
can
hate
deal
it
with
when
that.
you hate it when she's in the booth.
She cannot be in the booth, brother. She cannot be in the booth. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. And also, I think again, the LPGA should get a little bit more respect. I I know that the PGA is still gonna rack in hella bread,
Yeah.
but I think we need to have that same respect for their majors as we do for the men's majors. And I've said that before, and I'm gonna continue to harp on that. If
I
you want to
I agree.
do, thank you. If you want to
I
do,
agree.
and
But quick note. Yeah, go ahead. I'll tail end it when you go ahead. If you want to do.
if you want to do an off-field event, if you want to do that 125 to 225 player event, yeah, put that Barracuda out there. Put the Puntacana event out there.
But
So if you
I
really
mean
want to watch some PGA stuff, you can watch it. But put them in the
I'm
spotlight.
I mean the PGA playing the team event this week is kind of the equivalent of that. And in the past, it has been one that did not. This seems to be the rare exception, and you know that. Typically, we would not see Rory, but because they won it last year, the Zurich is going to get a little more burn
That's what I'm
than it has in
saying.
the past. But that's not normal. But I get
But
what you're saying.
Xander Schauffele, and Patrick Cantlay, they've been playing the last 3-4 years. They've been bringing names.
Yeah.
JT played with somebody. Spieth was playing. Like they brought names before. It wasn't
I
just like
can't.
a warm up or intermediate event. Like
Yeah.
this has been since like post COVID. So this has been almost 4 years running now. They've been getting names. So that's what I'm
But
saying.
this for
And that's why I didn't want to disrespect the Zurich because I'm excited to see the Zurich this week. I want to
yeah.
see who's playing, not just Rory and Shane.
But let
Defending.
me jump in. Let me jump in. So here's where the LPGA has done itself no favors. And I can't remember her name. She used to work for the Golf Channel, but we talked about this weeks ago, early on in the year, that the LPGA, in particular for the Chevron, has to pick better sites. Now the LPGA Championship and the Ladies PGA Championship and their U.S. Open have been at very competitive and high quality sites these last couple of years. However, Carlton Woods in Houston, no shade, it is not to me a major championship site. We've talked about the quality of that course. It is a slight step against above a Muni. It's just not that historic, polished product that you see on TV usually for a major. So they don't do themselves any favors, and also the time of year that they've been holding this event. A couple of years ago it was cold and it was rainy. Last year I think the weather held up pretty decently, but as we talked about going into the show, this week is another week of rain, excuse me, in the Houston area, um, where y'all are getting rain all week, and it's going to be a sloppy track. Thursday, Friday, we're probably not going to be able to complete those rounds. You know, Houston area gets a lot of lightning when the rain does come in, so I think they need to think of a different site for this event going forward. Um, Chevron
Too
can keep
late.
their name on it. Say that again.
Too late.
I know. But whenever the contract runs out, right? Chevron can absolutely keep their name on the event, but find a better site. And I know we're going to have to deal with this one for a while, but the weather is going to continue to be a factor. It's kind of like when we talked about Live playing their Houston event in the middle of the summer in Houston. it made no sense. You have to have some geographic understanding of what you're putting yourself into. So you're gonna get what
Yeah,
you're gonna get from this major.
I
But I
mean, I
agree.
agree with they. I mean, yeah, it could be a better track, but Carlton Woods is pretty. It's top dollar. I mean, if you think about the neighborhood, it is. You
No,
just
no,
look
no,
through it.
no,
It
no.
is
It
definitely.
cost it costs a lot, but is it a major site? That's the question. Do you?
It
Yeah, they
is.
made it one, but does it hold up against the other tracks where majors are held?
Yeah, it does.
I don't think so.
You going from Rancho Mirage that was there for like 30 years. We were cemented in seeing that. I'm not defending Carlton Woods at all. But I'm
Yes, you are.
saying though,
You
like
are, sir.
I'm not. I'm just saying though, like it's not as bad as we think it is. It just we just gonna have to get used to it. And then they're gonna build upon that and they're gonna make it a more manageable major, thing that they have. They already built a new
Okay.
diving board, they made the water, more seeable and blue and stuff like that. So they're
All
doing the
right.
work, but
You go take Carlton Woods to the alley and anyway, I think I don't want to make picks on it, but I think Nelly's going to be defending here this year. I
it's
think her
Nelly or the
game's in.
field and it's the field.
I agree. Um, I think there's so many people playing well. I just say it's a toss up week in, week out. But I think the last couple of years we've seen the trend. It was Lily Avu's year 2 years ago. It was Nelly's year last year in the majors.
Yeah.
Celine Boutier the year before that. I feel like we're gonna have
Yeah.
somebody that's gonna jump up and win multiple majors this year. I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah.
one of the ladies from Thailand. It's probably gonna be Gino. I feel like it's her time.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking forward to a major. We're hitting it hot and heavy going through the summer where the men are hitting it every month. But I ultimately on your thought, I would love for the ladies in the same way that the Masters gets its own week, for the ladies to have one week of their own where everybody sits it out. The men don't get that
Every
every single
major the
time.
men.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's true. I lie because DP World Tour they're opening it up. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's hard to get the other three tours for the men to simultaneously agree to sit it out. PGA,
Right.
DP World Tour, and Live. Difficult task, but I would like at least for the ladies to get one solo where they're
Maybe
the
the
only
US
show in town.
Open, maybe the US
Yeah,
Open, maybe the PGA, but again, that's the heart of the PGA season. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, I guess the women's Open Championship because it's so late in the season. There's this July. There's this end of July going into August. Maybe that could be their little one that they have in the forefront. Just like what we've been saying, they've been getting some more championship venues with the Open Championship as well. Just like they got the Scottish Open prior to their the Open Championship week for them. So yeah, maybe that'll be the Kickstarter for it, and then they'll go into it from there. But
yeah.
yeah, I
Literally
think
the
the fact
last week
that
in July.
mhm. I think the fact that they can't that they're trying to make the Chevron the ANA very similar. We can't get spoiled about getting more championship venues. We know the US Open is going to travel. We know the women's PGA is going to travel. We know the circuit for the women's Open. We know the tracks for the US, the PGA, the men's stuff as well. But when they're
Yeah,
trying to lock in this one event,
the Evian is held at the same place every year as well.
yeah,
Because they have their five. So
right. But the Evian, again, the Evian is still tricky, but they've made it a venue. They've continued to build on that, and now it is absolutely a major venue.
yeah.
No, Steve, I'm not making that drive, bro. I'm not going to the Woodlands for that. But
See,
um,
if
I
If it
do
was
have
a
some
better site,
friends.
you'd make the drive. If it was a better site, it would be appointment viewing.
No, Rod knows me. Rod knows I don't do crowds. Rod knows I don't do traffic no more. I don't deal with all that. That's why we play at the crack of ass at 7 a.m. So I don't have to deal with that. So
Antisocial.
maybe if it was at Kingwood, maybe. I mean, that's
Um,
me being like on the
golf,
south
golf,
side.
golf, golf club of Houston. Clearly, it's hosted PGA level events.
Yeah,
Could that
Golf
be
Club
a
Houston's like 20
contender?
minutes, so I think
But do
so.
you don't you think that's a
They
better
blend the
track
courses though.
than? Don't you think that's a better track than Carlton Woods?
Overall, the members course is not the tournament course. The tournament course is janky.
No, it's
I
boring. It's boring.
it's just long. It's
Right.
7,300 yards. You go over water a bunch. You gotta bro. They have a
The par
240
threes
yard
are
par three. It's just
yeah. The
stupid.
part I was gonna say the par threes are long. All right.
I do like Kingwood. Kingwood's like, but they got like four tracks. They just sold one. They're pretty premium, I would say. But Kingwood's probably on like the lower end of deals like that. I mean, you could probably go to like Champions Gate. That's out there in the Woodlands. I mean, I don't know, bro. There's a couple of different courses. They could trick out like Westwood. There's some courses on the southwest side that are pretty exclusive, completely private. Brayburn has 3 9s. They have 27. They just did a
Hmm.
big reno on it. Riverside's a course that's completely private. There's a bunch of different like exclusive golf clubs in Houston that with the right funding from the LPGA or the golf associations and stuff like that, they could make into a major venue. It's just logistics, who's got the politics of it, and a lot of times the Woodlands just is gonna outwin all of that stuff because they have the space plus the money plus the venue. It's just
Yeah.
unfortunate. And like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. That's just what it is for the situation and for Houston.
But but that's the thing that holds them back ultimately. But we'll see. We'll see how the event turns out.
Yeah,
Um.
we'll see how it goes. But also,
Yeah.
I think a lot of these courses try to build up the rough, like to make it tougher, but also kind of makes it a lot uglier and not really that enjoyable. Like a course
Right.
like Carlton Woods, put the pine straw out there, make the rough low, like make it more enjoyable for the fans to see better golf. Like it's a tough course, bro.
And
Carlton Woods is
I
tough.
don't think it's a very I don't think it's a very good spectators course either. I think the way that the green complexes are
It's
set up,
spread out.
where
Yeah,
you would have fans, they're not ever really that close to the action. So I think it's again, to me, there's a lot of it literally doesn't look like there's that many people on course at the event when they've played it here the last couple of years. So
yeah,
logistically, it's just tough for me to get behind. It's just the weakest of the five majors that they play. Just leave
yeah.
it at that. It's the weakest. Um,
We'll see this week. We'll we'll,
yeah.
we'll make an educated opinion this week after the event and see
After it's all said and
if
done,
we
see if it looks,
right if it
see if it
refreshes
looks better.
right stands expansions walkways. How the tournament flows. See if they changed up how the course was playing or something like that to keep it all a little bit closer and stuff like that. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. We don't just write it off now, but yeah, they got some things that they battle on right now.
All right. That's it for our official list. One thing before we get into the JT's, what's in the bag? It was. This is the kind of. I forgot to put it on our show notes, but we talked about it kind of offline. So, Live held their duels event, which is similar to the Creators Classic with with you know the PGA Tour, except for the PGA Tour doesn't have the pros playing alongside in their Creator Classic. Um, at the end of the day, uh, one of the Bryan brothers, what's the one that's pro?
Wesley.
George is the one. So Wesley Bryan played in the duels. It was reported that he was told the consequences of playing in the event. He continues to
Yeah.
straddle the line between creator and pro. Because they have their YouTube channel that's been around forever. Um,
Right.
George has never been able to make it, and get a full time card on any tour, including Corn Ferry.
Yeah.
Most beautiful swing, but just doesn't necessarily play well when it comes down to Q school and competing. So, nevertheless, Wesley Bryan plays. He's suspended. Simultaneously, they give Grant Horvat an exemption into the Barracuda. All the stories link these two things together. To me, they are very separate. Grant Horvat is not a pro. He's not going to perform very well on a PGA level course. The chances of him making the cut are very low, probably slim to
Right.
none. Good golfer, not a pro golfer. So him getting an exemption into the Barracuda is not a big deal for me. And again, he doesn't have a PGA Tour ticket. He has not even ever competed for a PGA Tour card. So I'm kind of like they're two separate things. While Wesley Bryant is a professional golfer with the PGA Tour card, even if it is limited status this year, still has a card.
Yeah.
So why would you play in that event unless you were going to fully commit to, okay, I'm just going to be about this creator life and put out videos with my brother. That's what I'm going to do going forward. So a lot of people disagreeing. I saw a lot of polls posted from folks on IG about it, and the crowd seemed to think that Wesley Bryant was done wrong. I'm one of those people that don't think he was done wrong. He knew the consequences going in and still did it. And for what? I don't know what the benefit was. I don't know what the payout was, but it seems like a short-sighted decision on his part. And we don't know when his suspension or how long it's going to last at this stage. What are your thoughts on this scenario?
Um. Yeah. I think Buddy was just working off of, unfortunately, privilege only, because for him to think that he could get away with being a creator and a pro and double dip is just goofy to me. Funny as hell, really, because you have you have a job. Your content creation stuff is a side gig, bro. Are you really going to diss your main source of income for pennies on the dollar? Is that what we're doing? Because to me, that's what it feels like. To me, that's what it
Yeah.
looked like. I mean, you get a creator, you get a creator classic, like it's like a series now. So they have maybe 4 events total. So they'll do like 2 more, I think, is what they were
Of
saying.
this duels thing?
No, 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 not the live duels thing.
The Creator
I think,
Classic?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's supposed to be more because they did TPC. And there's supposed to be one like around the US or the PGA or something like that. I'm pretty sure there should be like at least 1 or 2 more, but you're risking it for possibly 3 content creator events compared to you getting starts and exemptions to make millions. And then you have actual sponsors, club sponsors, apparel sponsors, and stuff like that that you're just risking at the just to throw to the wayside for content creation. I just think it's goofy. I think it was
Yeah.
short sighted and tunnel visioned on his part in the end. And for him to get suspended, that's on him. Grant Horvath is playing got an exemption into the Barracuda. We all know what the Barracuda is. The Barracuda is a joke. It's literally just like a money grab and a
Yeah,
point.
we
It's like,
you watch the Barracuda if you're like absolutely bored and just want to play You want to watch some
You
golf
don't
that
e-
weekend.
you don't even get the 500 FedEx points. It's like 350, bro. You don't even get the full amount of FedEx points for playing in it, bro. Let's be
You
for
get your
real.
two you get your 2 year exemption, but I don't think you get into any majors for that event
Yeah,
because it's Stableford, right? So you got to go
yeah.
score. Um, he's not gonna, yeah, and you are correct. So interesting on the Creator Classic deals, they're doing it ahead of the Philly Cricket, um, which is the event that
The
took over
truest.
for Quail Hollow. Yeah, the truest. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks on May 7th, and then Eastlake late in the season prior to the FedEx Cup.
Yeah. So you want to be in that and make yourself known for that more than actually being a pro golfer? Hmm.
You know,
Make it make sense.
unless there's some plan in the background to get signed by Live, it benefits Wesley Bryan for sure if he goes to Live. It's a guaranteed job and a check. But for Live, I mean, people that watch Bryan Bros, I don't know if they're going to translate into people that are then going to go watch professional golf on Live. You know, like I don't think
Right.
those two audiences are different to me.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely a different grab. I don't know, bro. I like you can try to defend it as much as they want, but it was a bad decision on Wesley's part. I think he
Yeah,
needs to fully focus on the remaining prime years he had. Again, in his 30s, he's not old. He's got
you're
plenty
right.
of prime years left and a good enough swing to get it done. Not saying he's gonna come out here and win on the biggest stage, but he can make some money. He can be a career top
Yeah,
tenner. He
he's a good
definitely can.
golfer. It just feels like he never
Not
has
not
committed
short.
to his per. No, it just feels like he has never committed to his professional career.
Right. Right. I guess I'll play golf. It's fine. I mean, like, cool.
Right. It's like he shows up like no practice and you
Yeah,
know,
bro.
for somebody that's been pro, he says since 2017, he's actually got the same amount of earnings as Garrick Higgo at 5 million bucks, 5 million, 5.2 million over an
In
8 year
half the time.
period, which I looked up with Garrett Higgo, who has missed a bunch of time on the PGA Tour. So it's like this is a hobby, and look, I'm sure they make a lot of money off of their YouTube channel. I don't have any bones about that, and all the sponsorships. You know, they're partnered up with Tacoma Golf, so they got money coming in. That's
Throwback.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not the. But dude, you got your hands in a lot of pots. Is essentially what's going on here. So
Greedy.
I can't feel bad. I can't feel bad for you.
No,
All
not at all.
right, let's get into good finish with JT's what's in the bag. We'll hit this real quick. He's a titleist guy. The most interesting part was the wedges. Otherwise, it's a pretty traditional bag. So here we have the tartan jacket. Always love to see that. Doesn't look much different than the one that they get for the Colonial. Um, Driver, you know, he's pretty much like always on the current cycle. Played the TS versions when they were out.
Hmm.
Titleist GT2, 10 degrees, D1 sure fit setting words. I also saw that he may have been playing with the D2 setting as well. But when they were able to get the photos, he was in D1. Mitsubishi Diamana Blue Board prototype. The weight was not given and didn't have a photo with the shaft on it. So I'm very interested in the weighting that he's playing with right now. If there's
Yeah.
anything indicative from his irons, I would imagine that he actually plays a lighter um, driver shaft. You know, it could be 65, kind of like what I play. But JT seems to play some lighter shafts when it comes to some of his clubs.
Yeah. Once to get the speed up, I mean, the GT2 itself, um, it's more like, I mean, you see there's no really adjustable settings besides the hosel. he probably got it injected. I think he's got like a tour issued, core type deal that they're probably keeping under wraps or something like that. It's probably a little different than off the shelf, but it ain't
Mhm.
much.
No.
10 degrees D1, I think that's like a degree or like three-quarters of a degree down, a little bit closed, I think I remember. I don't know. I rock a A1. I
Yeah,
rock
and
an A1.
in the past, he's played a 9 degree driver, so this is a
Yeah,
new changeup for him as well.
yeah. He don't need no help with loft. That's for sure. He
No,
don't need
not
no
with
help
that.
getting the ball in the air.
No, with that high left arm, like he doesn't. His swing is not flat at all. So
Yeah, no.
launching it, and the broadcast has been very keen on pointing out when he pulls that left hand um, kind of heel in the air. He's really trying to get some extra yardage out of it. So,
Hmm.
5'10" JT can move it, and this high highly rated GT driver. It's making it in the top three of all driver ratings these last couple of years since its release in 24.
Yes, sir.
Playing the TS3, last cycles, 3 wood here and 15 degrees, A1 sure fit setting with the Mitsubishi Tensei AV Raw Blue, 85 Touareg shaft. Again, I will say this because we're it's a full trend. The Mitsubishi Tensei in the blue version for 3 woods, that's like the go-to for everybody right now. We've seen so many
Yeah.
players this year with this driver or excuse me, this shaft in 3 woods, and I'll tell everybody why. I play the same shaft in my 3 wood, and it is because of the extra spin with the launch that you get from these 3 woods, and a lot of them honestly have low spin kind of just built in. These modern 3 woods are very much low spin. So it's like it makes it a little more controllable to have that AV blue or that Tensei blue in there because they have a couple of different versions of that. They have the raw and then they have the kind of the standard Tensei, but all of them are the spinniest shaft that Tensei offers. So this has become a really popular 3 wood shaft.
Yeah, I mean the TS3 is actually older than it's probably the original. It's before the
Like,
TSI as well.
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty old. That's his tried and true stuff. So I think he has like the five
Keep
wood as
well,
well.
yeah, keep that search going because it's this the 5 wood is even older. So in the 5 wood, he's got the Titleist 915 FD at 18 degrees B3 sure fit setting, with the Fujikara motor speeder and then this VC 9.2X flex shaft.
Yeah, the five wood is the one that he hits anywhere he wants and does whatever he wants with it. I mean, that dude can hit any shot with that thing. He is just you put that in his hand, bro. I like he's a world beater.
Yeah.
I mean, he hits
So
that
those are
280 in the greens, high draw, low
high.
fade, off the tee, off the green. I mean, bro, he does it all.
That's that Tiger influence where he's like, you got to hit all these 9 windows and shape it. So
Yeah,
he's gonna do it with that particular club. No, I didn't put the T100 because I didn't have an actual picture, but in his 4 iron, playing the Titleist 200 with the True Temper Dynamic Gold issue X100. Again, just kind of speaking to the weight in his irons that he uses, a little bit lighter than normal. Playing the T100 and the 5 iron, so kind of going with the little bit of a combo set, a little more help, a little bit of forgiveness, still a player's iron. I mean, the T200 and T100 still look very attractive. Even that 200 and the 4 iron, you're not going to see anything out of the back of it. It's a pretty sleek
yeah,
iron.
yeah. The T200 gives him just a little bit more forgiveness. And apparently he makes it a little bit weaker just so it's not going too hard for him, just like
Yeah.
that in between yardage and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I think it's a good one. I was just looking at the shafts. It's the Tensei Blue is the mid. It's
So
like
what's
medium of everything.
because
Because that's
from
why
you talking
I
about on the
like it.
spin? Because the
Yeah,
white
spin
is
and
the
launch.
lowest spin. The spin is the excuse me. The white is the lowest spin. The orange should be
Orange.
kind of their mid spin. The blue is the spinniest, right? There's not another one. I mean, I think they've just recently released the green, but that's not widely adopted. I don't think I've seen anybody with the green yet.
The red is the spinniest.
Really,
Yeah,
I've
the
never seen
1K
a
Pro
red
Red.
and
Yeah, it's the spinniest. Orange and white are low. Blue is mid. It's mid launch, mid spin. And then I mean the Tensei Blue is like kind of lumped in with that, but it's not the highest. The red is the highest spinning one.
but I don't think anybody
But
plays a damn red.
it's a pretty exclusive shaft. I mean, but it's like a Titleist specific shaft. And so
Mm,
a lot of the 1K series is Titleist specific. Like my Titleist, like my Tensei Blue that I have is Titleist specific. It's a 1K blue, so it's more forgiving, but also like a little bit more spinny. But yeah, I think that, and then like the hybrid shaft, Mizuno can get it, but it's an upcharge, I think. But yeah,
yeah,
Titleist has
yeah,
some. They have some
yeah.
goals.
My blue has made it from my all the way from my Nike Vapor 3 wood, and has moved
Mm,
with me through different clubs. So it's an older version of that shaft. Let's
yeah,
keep it going. Justin, with the custom Titleist 621 JTs in the 6 through 9 iron, his scoring clubs. Um, I'm sure there's some slight adjustments to the typical, Titleist 621 blade. See a little bit of heel relief, toe relief that we typically don't see. That tends to
yeah.
stand out. Um, I mean,
Probably a
other
little
than
bit more
that,
upright for his swing.
yeah, that's it. I
Yeah,
mean, other than that,
probably just like Morikawa stuff. I mean, it's probably a base level with just a few tweaks, but anything to keep you in the game, and you want to throw my name on it, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, call
right,
that the JT
right,
Proto all you want to. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
So the biggest thing was him playing with the wedges and the grinds, particularly on his 60. Um,
Yeah,
you know, so again, pretty standard. The 46 degree SM10, that is not uncommon. We've seen that a ton. Looks like he does have that bent at 47.5 to match his set. I'm sure that's also where some of that customization in his irons come from as well. So the loft a little bit higher than we were used to seeing. Nothing crazy.
yeah,
47.5's got the 52 at 52.5. The 56 at 57. Again, gapping. It's all about specifics and you hitting your yardage. At this point, it's not it's personal preference.
yeah,
And how much spin you want, on particular clubs. And then we have the 60, which is of course the one that we have featured in the 60.5. I'm gonna even have to bend in on this. So the ones that they had featured were like this 04T grind and then this A plus grind. And I think there was like a star grind. I could not find a picture of the A star. So a lot of different variations for Justin on this 60 degree. And it's got to be based on surface, um, soil firmness, and just some other characteristics that he's looking for week to week, depending on which of
yeah.
these that he puts in the bag.
Which is true. Um, I think. especially like, well, you'll see it a lot on the Titleist page. It's actually really cool. Him, Cam Young, Zalatoris, they all pretty much, provide a lot of feedback, and you'll see them when the new wedges drop. They're always one of the first to test it, put out a little promo for it and stuff like that because they know how dialed they are. And when you're a longer player, you're going to have a lot of wedges in your hand. I want to have something that I'm comfortable with. So for him to be playing, 47.5 at his pitching wedge, because his 9 iron is probably like a 44 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Something where ours is 41, he's playing some pro lofted stuff. He knows how to compress it. He knows what he's trying to do with that. So Young need the help. Like we need the help. Um, 12 degrees of bounce on a 52-year gap, 14 degrees of bounce on your 56. That's pretty big. Like you're trying to, mainly for your gap wedge, I know you're trying to hit that out of the fairway. Your 56, turn 57, you're trying to hit that out of the fairway a lot. I mean, that's what the F grind is. That's what it's meant for. But when
Yeah.
you get into your 60 with a T grind or A grind, now me and Rod are very, very much sherry on TikTok. I shared a fully equipped golf page, What's in the Bag with him, about JT's wedges. The A grind apparently has a wider sole on it, and then they grind, and then he has it in the tour truck and has it grinded down to look similar to the T grind, but likes the properties of the A grind more than the T grind. So that's why he typically uses that 60 degree with the A grind on it, and then just has them grind it down to the specs that he wants. A little bit rounded on the back, a little bit more sharper on the front, I think is what I remembered it saying. So
Yeah.
when you're that dialed in with your wedges, bro, do what you need to do, bro. For real. Because to me, that's insanity. Like I think I want to do something with my wedge, but like not to the extent of that. You know what I'm saying?
Not that.
Like
Not that crazy.
my 58 with 8 degrees of bounce, it's getting the job done. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think about getting like a lower bounce or seeing if one of the tech guys at Golf Galaxy, my local Golf Galaxy, can maybe grind it down a little bit more sharper and a little bit less bounce? Yes. But am I going into the details that JT is going? Absolutely not. Absolutely
Oh,
not, bro.
I can't find a um super current, but it looks like he's kept his stock yardages pretty much the same. So his 56, 57, he carries at about 112. Um, Gap wedge, he's
Ridiculous.
going 126. It does feel ridiculous, right? Um, Pitching wedge carrying 142, 9 iron 160, 8 iron 172. As you get higher in the bag, these are pretty common yardages for pros.
Yeah.
7 iron 175, 6 iron 200, 5 iron 212, 4 iron 228, 5 woods going 250, 3 wood 275, drivers about stock carry 300. So
You hitting it out the
oh,
middle.
every damn time. And ball, he's playing the Pro V1X still. So
You have his
that
putter.
is. Oh, I do. Sorry.
This is
Scotty
new.
Cameron,
This
Phantom
is
5
new.
Tour prototype. Because he was playing a kind of the uh, traditional. Oh,
He
I
he
closed
had
out
a
the window.
he had a different proto Phantom 5 with a welded neck specific to JT only. Only one like it. Welded neck on a Phantom 5. So this one has the single bend, and then you see what he's doing with the bottom as far as how it's sitting, how it was grinded. That's specific to him only. That one right there. And they just recently came out that he switched to this one. Same same face, same like that. Also, in the works, has an old blade like he had when he originally came on the tour. It's with the new micro hinge insert, but without the chain link look. So it's got that same insert, that same softness, and that same reception, but without the chain link look. So if you look it up,
I
it's like
I'm gonna I'm gonna pull it up. Just I'm gonna risk our signal here for a golf WRX page because they're always bogged down. But I'm gonna I'm gonna share my screen.
yep, that's the one.
So
That's the
this is it. I think I had a picture of the bottom. So there's the prototype experimental 4 tour only use Newport 2,
yep.
225 weights, single dot. Always
Same
using
grip
that
on
super
every
soak.
putter.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, clearly he's been playing with that and at least using it early on in the week to play around with, but hadn't put it back into play. You know, he's used to that phantom look, which
Shout out to that Phantom
Scotty.
5.5 boy.
Yeah, I mean they're putting so much technology into the phantoms these days. They've come a long way. So shout out to Scotty Cameron for evolving his putter tech and not sticking on his laurels, but always advancing the game. So that is Justin Thomas's what's in the bag as of this week's RBC. Clearly, always tinkering as well. So it could change from week to week, or the next time we see him win, it could be totally different wedge setup, putter. I think now that he found success with that Phantom, I don't think we'll see that changed out anytime soon.
Right. Maybe in the off
Yeah.
season or something when he's really tinkering or something like that. But for the season, I think we're going T5 Proto.
Yep. All right, my guy. That is our scheduled material for the week. Anything random you want to throw in there before we sign off?
Yeah, we talk about it pretty much every day, and it's not even by choice. Somehow, some way, Nico Harrison continues to embarrass himself more and more as the facts continue to come out. Again, me and Rod are lifelong Dallasite fans, and we're not going to really waver from that except for the football stance. But again, we don't want this information pushed upon us. It is just keeps coming out, and he keeps doing pressers. Go sit down and be miserable over there, please. I don't want to know anymore.
I mean, at this point, all he's saying is that I'm incompetent at my job.
Literally.
For that presser today, for him to say he knew there was a connection with the fans, but didn't realize how deep the connection was. Sir, Luka has been your number one selling jersey since day one. What are you talking about?
International star. Like you, bro, you go from an international star carrying his whole country, literally in the summer, still travels home to play in the FIBA championships with his people, to the brow. He doesn't even go by the brow anymore. It's AD. He's not marketable. He's not nearly as famous. He's just another tall black basketball player in America. Luka Doncic is carrying a whole country on his back.
And I love how the media continues to troll Nico. So in the final play-in game, as you know, AD hobbles to the sideline with another lower body injury. They zoomed in on that stupid face. He realizes that the camera is looking right at him.
I was about to say, because he's side-eyeing the shit out of that camera.
There's no other way other than to blow up this front office immediately. We've seen way too many of other front offices get destroyed. I think I saw the Atlanta GM lose his job today. Sign Nico up for the unemployment line.
Bro, they getting done dirty for less. Denver just won a championship 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago.
Disarray. Here we are. We've
Uh,
traded away a generational talent. You got to go, bro. You cannot keep this job. You have become a distraction at this point.
literally.
We got to start fresh.
Sorry, we do.
So,
Anyways,
I think
sorry.
that's a good end. It's a good depressing. All right, y'all. Bitter Bros Golf Show. We appreciate y'all joining us another week. We will be back at it again, covering the Zurich, the Chevron for the ladies, DP World Tour. I think they're back at it again, of course. So we'll be covering the golf, and hopefully, Houston's weather isn't as bad as the radar says it's going to be, and we can have a good, successful championship that finishes on schedule and doesn't extend into Monday. So. We'll catch y'all guys next week. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus.
Peace.